So you're watching this video and you're like, what? $10,000 a month consultant? Yes, ChatGPT can be a free toy, but if you are not using it with great questions, you're missing out on a $10,000 a month business consultant. That's how good it is. It's actually better than that, but I'm just framing it as a $10,000 a month business consultant because that'll get most people's attention. And the beauty is that if you pay your 20 bucks a month or whatever it is to access that or Grok or any other ChatGPTs, you basically have that on your payroll for free. There's no way to beat this, right? That's why it's so important to start thinking about using business consulting from AI to get a great direction, right? And the difference between people who win with AI and people who just talk about it isn't access. It's the way that you use it, right? It's the utility that you give it, right? You can just ask it for restaurant recommendations, or you can say, hey, I'm going to ask you a series of pointed business questions. And now you're getting a really upgraded chatbot, right? You're creating a co-founder who's built 10 companies before yours. And that makes traditional brainstorming, right? Which looks like two tired friends in a notebook. Like, what do you think, man? Should we do like a YouTube channel? What should be the name? That was cool maybe a few years ago, but now with the advent of these extremely intelligent ChatGPT and Groks, you're basically getting infinite experience and it's compressed into real-time questions. The question is, how good are your questions, right? How good are your prompts? And so the way to get better prompts is to feed that AI your background, your market experience, your goals, and then it starts to become a mirror that shows you what's possible. We've talked about that in previous episodes, and we've built a 5-episode series to basically get you from zero to a built business in less than an hour. And it's faster than any human partner could ever put together a business. And that's why I say AI isn't trying to replace you, although there are greater forces that are getting to that, but it also can join your founding team and help you develop an incredible business, right? So let's get away from, the traditional brainstorm of just kind of writing some ideas down and thinking and hoping that maybe it's the right thing, and getting to a place with AI that you can literally filter 10 ideas in 10 minutes. And these are really good filtrations, right? Devil's advocate type things. These are actual like data-driven, fast, high IQ iterations. And in this episode, what we're looking at is that iteration's the new intelligence, right? You see the cadence and the speed that ChatGPT is being improved, that Grok's being improved, that a lot of the image generating ones like Midjourney, right? They could generate images just by typing something in. And that is where this is all going. So if you're wondering meta, right, like big picture, where is this all going? It's basically a speed and cadence of who's getting better, who's learning faster. That's the new intelligence. It's not so much like, oh, I've got 10 years of experience and that should be good enough to push me through this market so I can come out ahead. It's really how quickly can I validate these ideas that I've got about product market fit and getting to a place where I'm able to learn faster than my competitor, right? That is the new intelligence, right? Most entrepreneurs are still stuck believing that progress equals effort, right? Like if I give a lot of effort, it will make me progress. That is somewhat true, but now with the age of AI, you have to understand that it doesn't necessarily mean that your effort will increase your progress. What now is the truth is that iterations are equaling progress. How quickly can you refine your product or your service, right? So we're going to get into this because it's really important that the old way is slow and it's not as effective anymore because it's built on guessing. And when you're using AI, you're taking the collective intelligence that's on the internet and you're blowing that out of the water, right? It's two different things, and you're able to really test 10 different versions in 10 minutes and test them well, which is unheard of maybe even 3 years ago. So that's kind of what we're talking about. I'm going to do a whiteboard on the traditional way and the new way with AI, and you're going to see real quick the big difference, right? So let's jump into it. On the left, I'm going to have the traditional way. Okay. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'd like for you to understand that even if you're skeptical about this, like, oh, really, am I going to use ChatGPT to build my business? This is going to show it real clearly that it's very difficult to compete with it if you're just doing the traditional way. So number one, with the traditional way, you're going to be paper, ideas, maybe a friend or two. Okay, this is maybe max 2 times brain power. And you might have a little bit of internet search. So the depth of your search, right, is human driven. So if you search 10 websites, that's it, right? Like that is the search because that's how Google works. And that in comparison, just in one snippet, right, compared to the AI way, whereas with AI, you're going to get collective intelligence, right, from pretty much every website that it scrapes. And it's going to source all of that collective intelligence and it's going to compose it in a beautifully written paragraph or a few paragraphs, right? Composed well so you can digest it. Okay, it's probably real time, especially Grok on X, right? And so you're getting real time data. This is really important. But more than anything, it's just not going to go to these 10 websites that you might have searched if you're using the traditional side, right? Maybe you searched Reddit, maybe you searched Discord, maybe you searched, a few research papers, maybe you searched another competitor or two, right, to put together your business. This is nothing in comparison to the thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of websites that this thing will have researched in literally seconds, much less than sometimes a second or two, right? It's that fast. That's why these chips are being produced, right? And these data centers are necessary. It's because the workload is so much compared to what a human can do. And so you're going to have a more comprehensive, right, body of search. It's going to search all the little pockets of the internet and it's going to get you the gold. And so there's really no way to compete with this because if in 10 minutes I can do 10 ideas, then that's probably going to land me what I would be able to research in 1 hour, one idea, right, on the traditional way. And so the speed of you looking at ideas and filtering out, could this work? How could it work? With AI is just unfathomably more than what you could do with traditional. So, I could just give one example, right? And I'll talk to ChatGPT now. Let's go ahead and put that. Okay, so basically it's now giving me the milestones and it's thinking, tell me I'm thinking like an entrepreneur and the context, okay, week by week milestones for a 3-week validation sprint. Week 1, visibility and signal gathering. Does anyone care? This is important. Prove that there's interest and awareness, right? Launch a simple digital storefront. Okay, we've talked about that. Post value content in 3 to 5 relevant groups, Facebook groups. So I've got to have 10 people message or comment showing curiosity or seeking help with buying and selling. This is really good. It's free. It's free to get the 10 people to message or comment, right? 1 to 2 small consulting calls or WhatsApp chats scheduled. One of the things that I found in my business was that without people willing to jump on the phone and talk about their necessity for your services, you're really just dealing with fake likes, right? Fake interest, right? Or low level interest. This is really, really good at saying, will people jump on a phone call with you or WhatsApp chat to talk about what their problem is, right? This is important. Number 2, trust in the pipeline building, right? Will anyone give me data or listings, right? So will somebody trust me with their $500,000 home to list it? I've got to be able to prove that I can access inventory and look legitimate enough to list or partner with somebody, right? 3+ listings, maybe in the first 3 weeks. Listings are easy. In your business, you've got to find out what's easy for you to get, right? What are the low-hanging mangoes for you to get? Listings are generally easy because everybody wants to sell their house and they're willing to just promote it as much as possible. And if you look decent enough, they'll say yes, right? It doesn't hurt them. So this is really easy on week 2. And then week 3, it's pretty straightforward. It's like conversion economics, right? Could I get 5 to 10 serious buyer inquiries? People asking about, hey, that house for sale, like what's the lowest price you'll take on it? Or, can I swing by and take a look without having a full tour? What's the address? Just basic things like that, right? And then I got to basically know that this can convert to an actual deal that would close. So I've got to have a spreadsheet showing that if I'm going to get 1 or 2 deals every other month, I've got to probably have 5 or 6 tours. Hey, put this on paper. See if you can get away with 1 deal every other month, which is what we simulated, or 1 deal a month or 1 deal every 3 months, right? See where the break even is. Step number 3 is counterpoints and pitfalls, right? Just because people inquire doesn't mean they'll close. This is very, very true. Because I've been in this market. I tried to sell my house when I built it, and it took me way longer than what I thought. I thought I was going to sell it in 2 or 3 months. I had 28 interested people come tour the house, 28 to finally get a sell. That blew me away because in other markets, it was probably between 7 and 12. But the difference was that in this market, there's a nuance. I didn't have people who were able to get financing. So everybody had to come with money ready to go. And that means that a lot of people are waiting on money, right? Like, maybe they're waiting on inheritance, or maybe they're waiting on their house to sell back at their home country, right? So there's a lot of this kind of nuance that this market presents. ChatGPT just pointed it out, right? So it's basically getting me ready to really think through everything without spending the $50,000. And that's really important because a lot of people spend the money to start their business and haven't really stress tested it. So that's a massive improvement on the traditional side, right? That you're not going to get. You're not going to get that on the traditional side. You're going to get that with AI. And this is exactly why I built this channel, is because you're going to be able to speed through this and really see yourself in the mirror and really get clear on whether you want to do this or not, right? The full picture. And AI, right, is going to help you scale because the intelligence, right, is making the effort easier, right? And the effort is still going to be needed in every business, right? You've still got to make that push go up the mountain, right? At the beginning, it's tough. But the intelligence is what really saves you time, and it makes the effort a little bit easier. And that's kind of why most businesses who are using AI can scale that first hump between $0 and $10,000 a month much quicker, right? And so when you're talking to AI, you want to get from proof of concept to like month one, first, 1,000K or $1,000, right? Month two, you're automating the business. And month three, you're scaling it, you're hiring some people, that type of thing. That's why this is gold. It's the intelligence that speeds up that process. It might have taken a year before. You might be able to get it done in 3 or 4 months this time around. So if you've been wondering, is this AI thing really for real? It is. I built this entire channel in less than 15 to 20 minutes, and I've been able to use it to gather my thoughts and clarify them so that I can deliver them to you on using AI as best as possible to create not only a clear business, but one that is modeled and sustainably stress tested so that you know that when you decide to go down that path, you have a higher probability of succeeding. The world is going to belong to those that are using AI for business to get better and iterate faster. It is going to be much tougher to compete with businesses that are using it. So if you're stuck in the traditional ways, I'm inviting you to look at the ways of using AI and using it to not only more efficiently think about how you're going to scale your business, but also how to iterate whatever next move you have in business. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. If you liked what you saw, please click like and subscribe, and then feel free to follow up with this video or this one. They're both going to help you optimize how to date as an established man. You'll have more success with women. I guarantee it.